which most of these video sharing websites do for some reason. Like, so, there's two things I can do. We can either try this, or I could, share my screen with you through Discord. We can start with this if you want, and if you don't like it, we can do this Discord. Because the only thing with that is, like, you'll have to tell me when to pause, I think, through Discord. For this, hypothetically, you should be able to pause on your own. You're at... What are you at? Is it playing for you right now? Now it's playing? It wasn't. No. Now it is. For me, at least. And I can't pause it now. Or are we both trying to click at the same time? I think we were both trying to click at the same time. Oh, yeah, I see you pausing. Yeah, so we'll just start the video. Because I think the top right corner of the video, you see who's doing what. Yeah, the only thing is, like... Yeah. But, like, see, I'm trying to pause, but I can't pause it for some reason. Until I, like... Okay. I don't understand. It's buggy, obviously. I'm gonna scroll it back to the beginning. Well, are you at 0-0? Okay, so I'm gonna play it now. So I brought up this one. This one as well. And you can pause if you need to read it. I mean, not for them, but kind of. You don't need to know it's okay, to be honest. Egg yo is important to know, though. Egg yo's complicated. Essentially, but, like, extremely like, on purpose. And, like, kind of specific actions that are considered quote-unquote cutesy over there. Yeah. Yeah, but more, like, baby-esque. Like, over-exaggerated. And a lot of the time there's, like, stereotypical Egyo, like, either phrases or kind of actions that, become popular. Yeah. It might take a while to get used to it. But yeah, but, like, Egyo's was definitely... I paused it. Chesterland. That sounds... Nah, I don't like that. You should do Chestershire, because that's a mouthful. Oh, like Worcester, but Chester. Yeah. That's funny. Okay. Omo, I mean, no. No, it's like, you know, like when we're like, It's just one of the noises they kind of make, you know? It's a subconscious thing. I don't know why they thought... There's some in here that, like, I briefly scrolled through it while, you were doing something, and, some of these I don't know why they think they're relevant. Like, I don't think that one's relevant, but, you know. To each their own. And it does sound like that. Like, this too, I don't understand. This, you don't need to know this. Selka is used a lot. Caillou is 50-50. I paused. Yeah, so they're like pointing, and it's, you know, it's supposed to be like good luck, you know. Yeah, or like, you know, break a leg, you know, that sort of idea behind it. Like to like pump you up and get you ready and like show support, blah blah blah, all that. What was the one before this was, wait, what was that again? Oh yeah, that's also not one that's important. Because those seem obvious to me with context. Because they're just mainly noises. This one is relevant. Yeah, there's a lot of shorthand. Ajuma, yeah. And the Ajushi. I can't pronounce the double S correctly at all. Wait, did you have a question? Did you have a question about bias? Oh, was it like the example they used? I didn't actually read it, so. Yes, well, it's because you're biased towards them. Yeah. Oh no. Okay, you're gonna hear a lot of English, like random English stuff, but pronounced weird. Yeah, but it's even more so in Korea. Actually, some do. No. I don't disagree, but like, my hypothesis is that, you know, the words they use that are English are not words that they like. They don't have Korean words for them, so they just use the English ones. Because why not use what's already there? Yeah. Of course, you know, they pronounce it like Koreans though, so it's like sometimes not at all understandable. But I think since you're really good with languages, I think you'll get the hang of like, yeah, because it's consistent, you know, but also like there's specific noises or like pronunciations in Korean that don't exist in English, which is also a big reason why I and other international fans, that's what anybody who's not a Korean fan are called, or like Chinese usually aren't considered that. Mainly not in Asia, but it's hard for us to pronounce things because we're like, that's a sound I've never made before. You know, like the whole LR thing, that's, you know, in Japanese, that's also in Korean. And it's almost identical, to be honest.
Go rest all who can.
It's just very slightly different. But something that's funny. It's okay. There's a lot of people that like companies bring in from overseas that like have auditioned, and they don't necessarily speak Korean already, so they teach them there. Which, to be honest, I'm like, I don't understand how you could send your kid over there like that, but okay, you do you. Or there's some that like say there's a lot of like Korean Americans or Korean like Canadians, and they might not know like a lot of Korean like at all, or they might know just basic stuff, so they still have a lot of trouble with it. And a big thing you'll see is that, especially with, you know, the English words that are used just regularly by the Koreans, they'll pronounce them, you know, the American way, and no one understands what they're saying. And so then they have to like copy the pronunciation in Korean. So it's honestly funny. Yeah, I'm always fascinated when I see it. I mean, Japanese has like katakana, hiragana, and kanji. Like, they're like, how do we confuse you as much as possible? That is not oh. Yeah, I mean, that's really what sucked me into the language, because I really wasn't interested until I knew it, actually. Because that's the reason why I'm like, oh god, I don't want to even touch Japanese. Oh, please, no. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. It's so inefficient. Yeah, but the thing is, it's almost nowhere. It's not anywhere near as hard as like understanding, you know, Chinese and Japanese, whatever. So you're gonna trust me. You're gonna catch on extremely quickly. At kanji? Oh god. I feel like my brain would just, after I'm gone for even like a day, would just delete that information though, because it's so useless. It's grossly inefficient. I mean, in a historical context, yes, but the fact that it's still used as convoluted-esque as it is, no. Mm-hmm. And I find that interesting, but I don't think it should be used. You know, it's like, I find aqueducts interesting, but I prefer plumbing. Yeah, which is why Hangul really interests me. That's the written Korean. It's called Hangul, by the way. Yeah, because, Yep, because Han is just, you know, the Korea aspect, and then you add country, or, you know, writing. Yeah, it's literally, all of it is like that. No, all of it is like that. So, you can say, like, volcano is, like, just fire, mountain. You know, just stuff like that. That, I don't know what that's technically called, but that pattern. Yeah, but there's so many exceptions. This is, like, the constant. You know, it's the same way that, like, English has rules, but there's a stupid amount of exceptions. It's complicated. We could probably talk about this for years. It's a 2-minute and 38-second video. But, I think, we both did. Okay. Also not something relevant. That's just literally, that'll be translated by the English subs. That is a little bit like... That's a Japanese thing too, though. Okay, this one is important. Do you see Skinship right now? Okay, this one is important because it's like, you know, physical contact or affection, but like more like so much more so than like you would ever see in the United States. Yeah, I mean, essentially that's why there's so many, like, whenever people are first introduced to like K-pop and everything, everyone's like, especially with the boy bands, you know, they're like, are they gay? Because, like, you know, the two guys holding hands is normal there, but for us, that, well, not us specifically, but, you know, the US as a whole, that seems weird or gay. Yeah, so it takes a while to kind of figure out the difference between just, especially with idols, there's, you know, just casual skinship that's just, they're not even thinking about it, it's just happening. Skinship that they're doing specifically for the fans, you know, to try to rile them up and everything. And then skinship that's kind of suspicious. But you'll never really know. Because, yeah, it's... You kind of have to judge for yourself, but I'm of the mind of, like, everything should be taken with, like, a handful of salt. You know, so, like... Yeah, so, like, the main thing is, like, you know, there's a ton of fans that, like, are like, yeah, this, you know, girl member or boy member, they're gay or whatnot, blah, blah, blah. Most of it is joking around. But there are some people who genuinely think it's real. And for some of them, you know, they may be correct, but, like, unless they actually come out, we're never gonna actually know. And I think people shouldn't make assumptions. So... There's only, like, maybe a handful of people, maybe not even that much, that I'm like, oh no, they're 100% homo. 100%. But there's only, like, a couple that I would like lock in that answer for. Everybody else, I'm like, maybe, maybe not. I could feel like it's probably, but I'm not willing to lock into it. But there are a couple it's obvious. It's too obvious. Yeah, so that's why shipping is a really big thing in fandoms. Between like members and stuff, and it can be cross members too, but like that gets complicated, and I'm not getting into that right now. I'm not getting into shipping right now either. There's something else I was gonna say. That's a whole other topic. Like that's down the line. I will give you a whole rundown of that. But basically, there ends up being in both boy group and girl group fandoms like a lot of kind of like joking around about like, you know, being gay or whatnot. Not like negatively, but like, you know, oh, that's, you know, oh, look, that's, you know, oh god, they're being so gay, and like, but like in a positive way, you know. Yeah, just, you know, there's a lot of like being satirical or, you know, facetious, you know, it's just having fun. Yeah, so that part I'm fine with. The part where like people are just insistent and won't listen to actual reason, I don't like those people. But the ones that are just having fun with it, but like know at the end of the day, you know, their opinion or ideas or anything relevant really, those people I'm fine with, and they make really funny content, actually. There's a very big portion of all the fandoms that, you know, are dedicated like solely to like satirical or funny or crack videos. And some of them get pretty creative. So I will show you them. But, and like sometimes there's like, you know, there's a lot of like inside K-pop memes. I'll explain them as I go along when they pop up, if I actually remember to. But I'll also explain like different terms that might not be covered in this, or like references when they come up. Or if you have any questions, you know, just feel free to pause and ask, because I don't know how much I know. I think that's all I wanted to say. Well, that's why I'm saying that, like, well, something that like I have absolutely no idea what's going on. Yeah, I doubt that's gonna happen. But if it's just like a reference I don't know, though, that's bound to happen. But mainly like it's just like, I know there's tons of shit I'm not remembering that might be actually decently relevant. So when it comes up, if I catch it, I will explain it. If I don't, and you want to know, just pause and ask, or tell me to pause too. You can just do that if you want. Bad at teaching / explaining things. This is not my forte. It is the opposite of my forte. Although I I know I sound like I'm dying, but I'm not actually. I do find this... Yeah. Well, especially since you already know, like, kind of similar-esque cultures, I'm not worried about you not catching on. It's just, like, plain old information that you won't know until you know. That, like, I'm thinking I probably won't remember to point it out or talk about it. So, if you notice, yell at me to pause. Where is what I want? Oh. Oh, that is interesting. That is not what I meant to do, but we'll go with it. Computer, please. Is this the one? No, wait. There's too many! Because they're called, like, essentially the same thing, so I'm like, wait, which one is this? No, I got it. I think this is good. Maybe. So this is called An Unhelpful Guide to Red Velvet. That became like a thing where... What? Well, that's the thing. That became like a joke, and then tons of people started making like unhelpful guides to like different groups. The thing is, they're actually moderately helpful. They do tend to use a lot of like... Oh, is it playing for you? Oh, it's not playing for me. Yeah, I mean, I've watched this video before. But... Yeah, I mean, they're funny videos. I like rewatching them. But, so basically, like, the unhelpful part is that they do reference a lot of, you know, inside jokes. So, you won't understand them, but, like, they give you enough of an idea that it actually is more helpful than not, which is how they became so popular. Yeah. Is it playing? Okay. Yeah, you're just, like, a split second behind me. Pause when you need to, because the text always comes up really fast.
이것만 계산해 주세요. 야, 너가 사는 거잖아. 콜롬비아 아라비카 100%, 콜롬비아나 편의점에 있어요.
But yeah, pause or tell me to pause whenever, because like one of the unhelpful things is that the text shows up really fast and leaves really fast. Yeah, there's a lot of that sort of like joking around.
마이크 테스트.
네, 신나는 마틸다의 마카레나까지 들어보셨습니다. 아이린 씨, 제가 할 말이 있는데요. 그 전에 그 전에 오마이걸의 라이어 무대를 가기 전에 크나큰의 무대부터.
And there's a lot I could hypothetically explain about the members, but I'm not going to do that at the beginning. That'd be too much. Yeah, I'm going to be doing a mixture of helpful and unhelpful stuff. I mean, essentially. It's like, I need to be helpful to an extent, but I also need to, you know, go through your hazing. That's Yeri on the right. Satan's advocate. Oh, should I tell you my bias, or do you want to guess it? I mean, down the line, I'll just have you guess it. If you don't think you're gonna what? Well, they're gonna go through each one of the members. So, there's a couple reasons why I picked this group. There are only 5 members. And they're part of one of the big companies. They're called the Big Three. Actually, I'm gonna pause this really quickly to explain. But yeah, the Big Three are the, like, you know, most quote unquote powerful or wealthy. They have the most success. You know, yeah. That doesn't mean, you know, small companies can't, you know, make successful groups. They have, and they still do. It's just that the Big Three are the biggest ones. So Red Velvet is part of SM, or SM Entertainment. And the reason why I chose chose Red Velvet was because being part of a big company means a couple things. First of all, it introduces you to the concept right away. Second of all, it means that, you know, this is a established group that, like, I don't have to worry about possibly getting you into it and then them suddenly just crashing and burning. And that there's actually decent amount of like content out, so I actually have things to go off of. So that's why, and also they're 5 members. That's why I chose Red Velvet specifically. Yeah. With their music, the whole idea behind Red Velvet is that they don't really follow this anymore, but this used to be the original concept. Was they had their red side and the velvet side, and the red side was like more poppy music and everything, and the velvet side was more like slow and R&B and all that jazz. You know, so not so much anymore, but like you'll see. She's the English speaker of the group. So she's from, well, technically she was born in South Korea, but she grew up basically in Canada. So that's why she's fluent in English. Yeah, it's really funny when you can tell, like, actually, this is part of, like, you know, I know I'm pausing so much, I'm sorry. I just keep remembering things. You know how I was talking about before with, like, I'm just gonna say American, and I'm referring to, you know, Canada and the US, because in the context with Korea, there's not a huge difference. At least with what I'm specifically talking about. So, you know, American members, or English-speaking members, come from English-speaking countries, whatever. It's interesting to see, like, how, you know, their obvious kind of American style / like, yeah, it mix and mashes with, you know, Korean culture. I found that very interesting to see, because, you know, with different people, it manifests or clashes in different ways. So, yeah. I don't know. I just thought you might find that interesting as well. Yeah, but like also like you might not be able to. Yeah, you might not be able to get as much of a sense, you know, until you get a better understanding of Korean culture. But like once you do, it's really obvious when like, you know, their say American side whatever is coming out more, and when like they have to like be like, I'm not in America. This is Korea. It's like it becomes obvious, and it's really like funny, to be honest. So, and I just thought you might find that interesting.
Did you? G'day, mate. G'day, mate.
Oh, also, like, there are technically, like, roles in groups. Wendy is the main singer, which means that she's the singer that, like, is the quote-unquote best, has the most experience and everything. So she handles, like, the higher power notes and everything. Then there's, like, you know, the main dancer, or main rapper, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, that's a big thing. You'll get a, it's not rap, you'll see. I can't explain this one. This one's, you'll just see. Maybe not so much with Red Velvet, because they're not hardcore on it, but, I'll give you examples down the line. But also, so, main is like, you're on the highest tier for whatever the role is, but then after that, there's lead, which means you're not quite main, but you're not too far from them. So like, you know, you have to like the lead singers. There can be more than one of those. There's only ever one main. And then you just have like plain old, they get that role. So basically it goes like, say for singer, you have the main singer, then the lead singers, and then like just vocalists, or like main vocalist, lead vocalist, plain vocalist. It'll make more it's kind of relevant and it's kind of not. It's complicated. It's just that a lot of people throw it around when talking about, you know, whatever. So I just, if you see that, that's what that means. Also, it gives you a sense of like how structured the companies make these groups and everything, which I'm not even gonna I'm not going into that, because I could go all up, and there's a lot I could talk about with that, and like what I find interesting and creepy and cool and all of that, but I'm not doing that right now. Usually when people are being introduced to new groups, people kind of prioritize like giving them background information about each of the people. I'm not going to do that. I'm only going to give you basic stuff. Because, you know, I have to haze you still. And a lot of what happens in these unhelpful videos is that I can't speak today. I'm sorry. A lot of things that's interesting that happens with these unhelpful videos is that, like, you're not going to understand a lot of the clips because they're completely out of context. But then when eventually you do get the context for the clips, you're like, oh, that's what that meant. So that's always funny. Because, I mean, whenever you're getting into a different group, you have that. There's no way not to have that. So it's always fun going over that problem. again, at least for me. This one I don't know. You know, there's there's some weird stuff in you know how there's like weird stuff in Japan? There's some of that in Korea, but not anywhere near the extent nor as sexualized. So that is considered like that's extremely far for things I've seen, you know? Like, that's considered weird. Yeah, no, fans would consider, like, why are you doing that? Yeah, that's like, that's a weird segment, you guys shouldn't do that again. I'm not gonna get into K-dramas. Because, I only know basic things about K-dramas because they do not interest me. This is Yeri. Oh yeah. I sent you something about that, I think. That's not considered, like, quote-unquote acceptable for idols to say, so she's, like, being a brat by saying that. Which is why I'm like, I think Crescent will like this one. Because she's a little shit. Also, she's the maknae, which means she's the youngest in the group. You'll hear maknae thrown around a lot. Yeah, usually, you know, people say, like, the maknae, or, like, and then there's also, like, the oldest. Those are known. Oh, and then there's leaders, for almost every group. Some groups nowadays don't have them, but it's more common than it's not. And there's other things that there's so much I can get into, but that's where I'm gonna leave that. So I'm trying to decide, would you like something crack related or something helpful? Oh no, the helpful guide wasn't. Yep, because you're not prepared. This one's probably